An Ice Age discovery is sparking imagination right around the world. Russian researchers have uncovered a well-preserved woolly mammoth on a remote Arctic island, and they were astonished to find it still has liquid blood. As Crystal Gamansing reports, the find is gold for scientists who dream of one day cloning the massive animal.
It's been a good 10,000 years since a woolly mammoth walked the earth, but a recent discovery has breathed new life into the idea of their return. Remains of one of the massive creatures were recently unearthed, and it wasn't just teeth and bones. Russian and South Korean researchers found remains with tissue still intact, preserved so well it still appears somewhat pink.
This sample seems to be, very unusual in its degree of preservation, and the way it was preserved seems to be different than that of other mammoth specimens.
Kevin Campbell is one of the world's only woolly mammoth hemoglobin experts. He replicated the blood protein in his lab. He's not only intrigued by the discovery off the Siberian coast, he's been asked to contribute his expertise. The field team also found blood, still in liquid form.
So it's one thing to get DNA sequences from a species, but it's quite another thing to take, physiological or biochemical measurements of those proteins from the living species.
With such a well-preserved specimen, there's now talk of cloning a mammoth.
I have serious doubts, though, about the cloning, simply because even if you have the DNA, producing a viable organism is still a huge step away from just having its DNA.
Scientists cloned Dolly the sheep, but it took more than 100 attempts. Plus, living tissue was used, not century-old frozen samples. Campbell says even if a viable tissue sample is isolated, the closest animal to carry the clone is an elephant, and there are hurdles there as well.
So to date, no one has ever harvested a viable egg from an elephant, nor, of course, implanted it again.
Still, Campbell hopes that doesn't stop scientists from trying. Great discoveries, he says, don't come from successes, but failures. Crystal Gamansing, Global News, Winnipeg.